While the entire developer ecosystem has been completely obsessed with Cursor, Google has been secretly building a weapon that makes it look obsolete. They just launched Antigravity 2.0, and let me be very clear, this is not an IDE. It is not a code editor with a chatbot bolted onto it. It is a full-scale agent command center. This is the exact orchestrator that famously built a working operating system from scratch in under 12 hours live on stage. Google is pushing this so hard that they are actively shutting down the legacy Gemini CLI this week and forcing enterprise migration to this new platform. It ships simultaneously as a desktop app, a native CLI, and an SDK, but having access to a multi-agent orchestrator of this magnitude is a massive liability if you don't have the actual business workflows to deploy it. That is exactly why the top builders are inside the AI Money Forge. My private community of over 400 founders and AI engineers aren't just testing new platforms, we are actively monetizing them. I just pushed a massive update live to the Forge Classroom. When you join, you bypass the learning curve. Look at this new SOP. I just dropped on building an autonomous Telegram agent workflow. You get the exact action steps, the framework setup, and the copy and paste prompt templates to assign agent roles. You literally just copy the exact systems my team uses. And to build those workflows, members get VIP access to the Forge arsenal. I have spent thousands of hours indexing over 1,100 AI tools, MCPs, and GitHub builds. You don't have to guess which tools connect to Antigravity. You just open the arsenal, find your category, and deploy the verified stack. It is your ultimate unfair advantage. If you are a founder who wants my dev team to build these systems for you, go to Forge Studio. But if you want the blueprints and the arsenal to build it yourself, hit the link in the description. Now let's look at exactly why Antigravity destroys the competition. Here is why it kills Cursor. Cursor is sequential. It does one thing at a time. Antigravity utilizes dynamic subagents. The main orchestrator receives your high-level goal, breaks it into subtasks, and dynamically spawns up to 5 parallel agents simultaneously to execute the code, verify the data, and clean the repository all at the same time. It even features native live voice transcription and built-in scheduled background tasks, acting like an autonomous cron job server that runs even after you close the app. When you look at the raw benchmark Showdown, the bloodbath is obvious. It scores an 83.6% on the MCP Atlas Tool Orchestration test, completely crushing Claude Code and Cursor. It gives you 5 dynamic parallel agents versus their single sequential agent. And most importantly, it gives you a massive free tier to start building immediately. Let me show you what happens when you actually unleash this thing in the terminal. Unlike Cursor, where you are still mostly just chatting with an AI, Antigravity operates as a true command center. You hit /goal, and it completely takes the wheel. And the feature set is making developers lose their minds. We are talking about native Chrome integration, where the AI literally watches your web app visually to debug it. We're talking fully managed Linux sandboxes that spin up an isolated environment for every single API call to protect your local machine from malicious code execution. But the real reason this is a Cursor killer is in the raw data. Look at this Showdown matrix. Antigravity scores an 83.6% on the MCP Atlas Tool Orchestration benchmark, absolutely obliterating both Cursor and Claude Code. While Cursor gives you 1 sequential agent, Antigravity gives you 5 dynamic parallel agents, ripping through prompts at over 200 tokens per second with Google's Gemini Flash model under the hood. And the entry price to start building? $0. The free tier gives you full agent capabilities out of the gate, and to make sure your agents scale, they introduce the agent skill system. You can write simple YAML files that lock in specialized knowledge, like custom git commit formats or database validation rules. You build the skill once and your agent remembers it forever. But I am not here to just hype this up. Let's look at the real limitations nobody else is talking about. Google is forcing this migration hard. They are shutting down the legacy Gemini CLI in a matter of weeks. If you build on this, you risk heavy Google ecosystem lock-in. And because this is bleeding-edge tech, the stability issues are real. Agents can get stuck in loops, and production code quality can occasionally lag behind Claude. You have to know how to pilot it. We are live inside the Antigravity CLI, running the incredibly fast Gemini 3.5 Flash model. We are asking it to build a retro Chrome Dino terminal game from scratch. Instantly, the orchestrator breaks down the implementation plan. It is autonomously defining the collision physics, the bounding box overlaps, and the double buffered rendering required to make a terminal game run smoothly at 30 frames per second. It handles the entire logic tree before it even writes a line of code. But it doesn't just write back-end terminal scripts. Look at this execution. It completely compiled and spun up a local server hosting this breathtaking front-end UI. Pixel-perfect typography, flawlessly integrated interactive 3D elements, and butter-smooth scroll animations, all architected and deployed autonomously by the agent. The barrier to entry for shipping enterprise-grade software has literally disappeared. If you want the exact blueprints to deploy these agents today, click the first link in the description. Join the AI Money Forge, access the arsenal, and start building your empire. I'll see you inside.